Both Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss were household names as two of the more prominently featured WWE superstars in the company before their most recent alliance even began. Nobody expected Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt to be as captivating a duo as they are, but now, they are arguably the most exciting thing in WWE, at least on the Raw brand. And yet, how often have we seen a promising angle in WWE diminished by poor writing and substandard booking? Here's a checklist of 5 things that WWE needs to avoid doing with Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt. You are welcome to weigh in the section below, and if you wish, even disagree with the views expressed. Number 5. Having Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss become the champions of their respective divisions too soon. One of the biggest issues with putting Bray Wyatt in the Universal Championship picture was that WWE did not know what to do with him, once he captured the title from Seth Rollins. We all remember the finish at Hell in a Cell that really did nothing for anyone involved and the short-lived reign of Bray Wyatt that was disappointing for all involved. Because Drew McIntyre is on fire at the moment, he should carry the WWE Championship for a while, going forward. Alexa Bliss too needs to just cause terror and chaos for the time being, and be inserted into the Raw Women's Championship picture at a later date, when the time is right and the moment is opportune. Remember that the WWE Champion and the Raw Women's Champion also have to work main event matches, and neither The Fiend nor Alexa Bliss is really Drew McIntyre or Asuka when the bell rings. Keep them away from the titles. Number 4. Having either Bray Wyatt or Alexa Bliss lose way too many matches. How intimidating would a supernatural creature who loses too many matches be? Bray Wyatt had much of his momentum sucked out the moment he suffered a defeat to Goldberg, and even the win against John Cena at WrestleMania wasn't enough to really make him the creature we so feared. Alexa Bliss was a pleasant enough babyface, and she's never going to be at the bottom of the card, but let's be real. She was much better as the goddess when she was a heel character compared to her coffee addict persona. Both Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss need to be protected. Another thing to mention in this regard is that they should not wrestle every week. The Fiend only shows up on special occasions to wrestle, and this is a very good thing because, in that manner, he remains a special attraction. Alexa Bliss should follow in the footsteps of Bray Wyatt and only wrestle when it is absolutely necessary. Neither one should be losing or competing far too often. Number 3. Mentioning Alexa Bliss's podcast far too often on Raw. One of the biggest mistakes that WWE made with Raw superstar Alexa Bliss is to launch a show entitled, Uncool with Alexa Blisses at the very same time that her most intriguing and compelling character was introduced to the WWE Universe. In the podcast, Alexa Bliss is obviously not channeling her dark sister Abigail persona, that would be one weird show, but is her usual, cheerful self. Obviously, Alexa Bliss is gorgeous and she is beautiful, and she is also a natural when it comes to speaking on the microphone, but The Undertaker became the legend that he eventually did by maintaining kayfabe over so many years. What's done is done, and Alexa Bliss's show seems to be doing well too, but the announcers on Raw need to stop promoting the show because it shows her in a very different light. Nothing spells pro wrestling is scripted, more than seeing 2 different versions of Alexa Bliss advertised on the very same show, to be quite honest. Number 2. Teasing a romantic relationship between Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt at any point. Speaking of breaking kayfabe, everyone knows that Alexa Bliss is currently in a relationship with popular musician Ryan Cabrera. It is also known that Bray Wyatt is in a relationship with former WWE ring announcer JoJo Offerman. For WWE to tease any kind of relationship between the two would be unwise because of how public their private lives are. And so Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt could just be a sadistic on-screen duo and little more. There have been moments where it did seem like WWE was going to tease that there was something going on between Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt, and it is encouraging to see that it was not the route they decided to eventually tread down, because it wouldn't have been received well by fans at all. One could even say that the Lana and Bobby Lashley storyline was a failure because everyone knows that she's very happily married to Rusev. Why take a chance with Bliss and Wyatt? Number 1. Having Alexa Bliss turn on Bray Wyatt or vice versa too soon. Nothing is certain in life except for the fact that every alliance that happens in WWE must end one day as well, and unfortunately, this could be the case with the Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss pairing too. Months, and become such a formidable unit, that they potentially last all the way until the next WWE draft. This is probably the best version of Alexa Bliss that we have seen thus far. Bray Wyatt too lost much momentum after losing to Goldberg, but now he's back on track once more. There's a story to tell with both characters.